All right, so today's video is a little bit different than the others. Today's video is not directly about a key. I got something different in the mail today. All right, so a little bit of packaging, printout. So this is a DigiRig connector and some power cables and a charger. And this is a battery. This is the Talent Cell lithium-ion battery pack. Let's see. So puts out 12 volts at 3 amps. Capacity 11 volts, 3 amp hours, so 33 watts. Limited charging voltage 12.6 volts DC. Okay, that's cool. Little battery. That's nice. We'll put that aside. And then the main feature is this, the True SDX. This is a little SDR radio. And, if you're not familiar with these, you might hear SDR radio and imagine the big, expensive, super fancy radios that you can buy from, anywhere from, what do they go for? $800 US on up to 5,000 or 6,000 for the top of the line. This is not one of those. At the time of this video, you can buy a kit for these for under $100 US. You can buy them ready to go assembled for somewhere around 140 from makers who are certified to make these by the creators, DL2MAN and PE1NNZ. And that's Manuela and Guido. I don't know either of them personally, but Manuel DL2MAN has a fantastic YouTube channel where he really takes a deep dive on these radios and how they're made. And then Guido PE1NNZ did all the software, and the software for this is amazing. This rig right here is powered by an Atmega 328P processor, which is, it's just the most tiny processor. I think it's got like 32K of program memory. That's not 32 gigabytes. That's not even 32 megabytes. That's 32 kilobytes. That's like, by today's standards, that's like nothing. But this radio, it's amazing. It's a 5-band radio. It puts out 5 watts. It has, very good filtering, lots of nice features. And, you can power it from a battery that's not much more than a cell phone charger. So I'm actually going to put most of this aside for right now. I am going to put the multifunction knob out. And I'll show you how I like to power these. So I actually have a little battery that is a cell phone charger. And that is this one right here. I will put links to everything I'm going to show you, Amazon links in the description. And those links, I'm going to try and use my Amazon affiliate code. If you click on them and you end up buying them, it doesn't cost you anything extra, but I might make a few cents on it. So, it's good for the hobby, good for the channel here. And, if you have your own stuff or you choose to go another way, awesome. This is about having fun, and this is a hobby that really rewards doing it yourself. So whatever works for me. This is a cool battery because it's actually, you can magnet it to the back of your phone and do the wireless charging. Or if your phone doesn't have one of the magnet rings, you can just set your phone on top of it and do wireless charging. Or it's got the USB out and it's got the USB-C charging for the battery itself and the USB-C output. So I also have this little wire, which I've had for a long time and never taken the plastic off, apparently. And so this is USB-C, but what's cool about it is it's got a switch on here. So right now it defaults to 5 volts, but if you press and hold that, we can go to 9 volts and then 12 volts. So now we've got 12 volts out, and we should be able to fire this rig up. And it says check PTT key. Should be good to go. One thing I should have done was I should have gone ahead and put a dummy load on here before I powered it up. So let me fix that mistake now. This is my super fancy dummy load. Again, this is a hobby that rewards do-it-yourself. So what is this? This is 4 200 ohm resistors. So 4 200 ohm resistors in parallel. So 200 divided by 4 is 50. So it makes it a 50 ohm load. Cool, right? Let's try and plug that in again. Again, check PTT key. Not sure what could have gone wrong there. I am just doing some inspection here, making sure that there's nothing stuck down in the PTT port, jack, whatever we call that. Well, always fun to get something in the mail with a problem. Just for grins, let me go ahead and plug something in there. Well, that's interesting. So when I plug something in here, everything seems to work. All right, first things first, this is in iambic mode. So let's okay. So I just changed it to CW. Okay, so it says on 7079, it's putting out 4.6 watts with an SWR of 1.02. Well, of course, we've got our 4 resistors making a nice 50 ohm load. And let's go ahead and enter the menu. And first things first, see, we've got mode CW. And we'll turn this to, got some really great settings in here. So I'm going to leave the SWR meter on SWR. CW decoder on. The CW decoders on these are actually pretty good. Semi QSK off. We can keep that for now. Keyer speed of 25. Well, I don't really plan on using a keyer with this. It is in straight key mode. Practice mode. So this actually has a practice mode. Let me actually turn that on for now. And now, so we can key all we want and put out nothing. Next thing we'll go ahead and do with this little rig is the speaker in this. Again, the team that put this together, they said, hey, look, you can actually use this button on the front of the rig as a PTT button, like an emergency CW key. It's not the best key in the world, but could you get a signal out in an emergency? Absolutely. It would work. The speaker on here, same story. It is not the best speaker in the world. They know it's not the best speaker in the world. They kind of say, hey, it's an emergency speaker. This is designed to use with a pair of headphones, or in my case, I've got this little speaker here. I bought it on Amazon for just a few bucks, and we could just flip that on and plug it in and get a lot more sound out. And now, what if we had a real key to go with that? Wouldn't that be cool? Guess what? You guessed it. I do have a real key. I keep it right here. So, here we are. We've got this little low-cost radio, a cell phone charger, a USB-C, I don't know what you call that, voltage converter, up converter. Actually, I don't think it's an up converter because USB-C has 12 volts in it. Some of them even have like 20 volts in them. Little external speaker, a vintage straight key, because who doesn't want to have a contact with a vintage straight key? And next thing you know, we're almost on the air. This key just needs a little adjustment. Okay, that's ready to send with. Last thing we will do is this software has been reset. The seller went ahead and flashed new firmware onto it before sending it to me. You can even see my call sign is in the top left corner there, because the seller was nice enough to go ahead and do my call sign for it. Let's go ahead and see. We've got a lot of other settings to get through here. We're going to come back to setting 8.3 reference frequency, and we're going to do some fine tuning there. But I want to see what version of the software this is. So this is 2.0i. I don't know if that's the latest version, but that's definitely a later version of this software. So every one of these has, like a reference oscillator. I don't know if it's a crystal or something else. If you want to know more about the actual electronics behind this, definitely check out DL2MAN's YouTube channel. He's got some fantastic videos there. But I do know that every one of these is slightly different, so we have to do a little bit of fine tuning in order to get this perfectly dialed in on frequency. It's going to be close, but I like things to be as good as we can get. So first things first, let's get out of practice mode. Practice mode off, and then let's get back to setting 8.3 reference frequency. And the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to fire up my rig, and I'm going to set us to somewhere where we can just transmit into this dummy lobe for a second. So let me bring us down. I'm just going to bring this at 706.5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to transmit into the dummy load here, but that's going to put out enough noise to actually pick up on my main rig screen. So let me turn the camera and show you that. Okay, so now you're looking at the screen of my FT710. And again, we're transmitting into a dummy load here, but being as how the two rigs are only 3 feet apart, about a meter apart, I can transmit into that dummy load, and we can see where this shows up. So I've got this dialed in right at 7065, which is where the rig's dialed in, and you can see we're not quite there. So I'm going to go into the menu, into setting 8.3, and I'm going to adjust that reference frequency. And it starts out at, what is that? 2.7 million, is that right? 1, 2, 3. 27 million. I think I'm reading that right. Whatever reason, those zeros are a little small for my eyes tonight. I'm going to turn that up by 100, and that made it worse. So now I've turned it down by 400. Now we've turned it down by 1,000. Real close. Now we've turned it down by 2,000. Oh, I overskipped it. Let me go back up by 50. Back up by another 50. There we go. There we are. And you can see not only am I right on here, but also on my little dial here, I'm right in the center. Also, I've got a spot button on the 710, and I hit it, which make it automatically adjust to do the fine tuning to find where the carrier is, and it found it right there at 7065. So let me get you back on the little True SDX. And so that's where we ended up, 269-97700. Every one of these is going to be different, so my setting's not going to work for you, and your setting's not going to work for me. The last thing I want to change before we get on the air is, by default, the little readout here is, instead of an S meter, it's measuring in decibels. I prefer to see an S meter, so let's see if we can find that setting. S meter. So what we want is we have dBm, we have S bar, or words per minute. That's all the things we can show there are off. So I prefer to see the S meter. And now it's showing an S1 because, again, we're on the dummy load. But let me go ahead and get us connected. I have a ZS6 BKW antenna hooked up over here, and I'm just going to get that wired up for us. So I'll show you the last little thing I'll link here. Oh, I'm tangled up. Bear with me. Bear with me. Sorry, there's nothing on camera. Okay, I was tangled up trying to get this wire out. This is a really cool piece of coax. Let me show you what it actually is. It is actually a male to female BNC terminated piece of coax. And the reason this is so cool is I have all these little connectors, so I can make this into anything I want. I can make it into something with a standard, male to male PL259s on the end, or male to female PL259s, or in this case, I can go from BNC on one end to PL259 on the other end. So let's just get this set up the way we need it. So that's going to go onto that. And let me just grab the other end that I actually want for this. All right, and I've got the connectors wired up here so that we can take the dummy load off and put our coax on. And I'm just connecting the other piece, the other end, I mean, of this coax to the back of my MFJ 945 tuner, which is what the ZS6 BKW is going into. And you don't actually need much of a tuner on the ZS6 antenna. If you're not familiar with that antenna, it's like a G5RV, but it's much more resonant than a G5RV, thanks to some computer models and Smith charts. All right, so there you go. We're wired up. That's going to bother me. Let's just get that wire over here. Let's get that speaker sent back there. And let's see. So let me first tune up for the right frequency here. So I need to be over here, and I need to be that's pretty good. SWR of 1.07 on the first try. You know, I don't like to tune up without identifying. All right, let's go and find some stations. That's pretty good sound. I'm actually going to move my microphone down here to the table just so that you can hear me and the rig pretty good. This, of course, is W1AW's code practice transmission, so great to listen to. Good thing to demonstrate the receive on a radio, because if you can't pick up W1AW, you might want to check your system. Let's see if we can find any stations that we might interact with. Let's put out a CQ. Well, I just checked the reverse beacon network just to see if we were, in fact, getting some signal out, and we were doing pretty good. I'm in Pennsylvania, and what was this putting out? 4.5 watts, something like that. So we got some local signals around to Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, out into the Midwest, up into New England. But also, we've got two stations reporting over in Germany. One picked us up at 8 decibels, and the other picked us up also at 8 decibels. And that's that's not great, but that's enough for a contact. So this little rig's putting out putting out good signal. Throw that into my ZS6 BKW wire antenna with the old signal electric key on board, and we're rocking and rolling. This is not an expensive setup. I think everything on the table. I don't know what that key cost. Let's call it $30. The little speakers maybe $12. The battery might be $20. The radio at 140. The conversion wire, I don't remember what those are, 15, $20. All in, we're somewhere floating right around $200 to get on HF radio and have a great time. That's really good. Let's see if any SKCC people are on the air. We've got KA1ULN down on 80 meters. And yeah, that's KA1ULN. That's Niece up in Massachusetts, I believe. So let's go down to 80 meters and see if we can get a QSO there. So I'll just double click this a couple times to change the band. And she is on 3.505. So let's get close to that. Nice. $599 on 5 watts. Awesome. That was a great contact. So overall, my little speaker died. Guess I hadn't charged that for quite a while. That's okay. That's why we have a built-in quote-unquote emergency speaker in the true SDX rig. We still got the contact done, even without our nicer speaker. All in all, I give this rig 5 stars out of 5. You can have a lot of fun with this. It's about the same size as a pack of playing cards. And, again, this is not a high dollar setup. This is very accessible for, anybody with some time and ingenuity. And if you have a soldering iron and the skills and willingness to do it, you can even do this so much better. Ham radio. What a fantastic hobby for, us do-it-ourselfers. Anyway, let me put this in practice mode. So that I can sign off as I always do. Hope to see everyone very soon. I hope you enjoyed this video and getting to see the Signal Electric key on board from the early 1900s. And until next time,